and welcome to Legend of Legaia. I'm not sure if you noticed when I was first starting up, but this is notably one of the few games I've ever seen that doesn't boot to the intro. It boots to this menu, and then you have to leave it with no inputs to get the intro, which I've always found just a little bit strange. But I will start a new game, that's all we get. You can't do options until you're in. God created the heavens, the earth, and the seas. After creating all things in the universe, God created humans to rule over this world. Yet, while possessing the wisdom of God, humans were physically weaker than the wild beasts and impulsive in spirit. Many times did the humans come close to dying out forever. Concerned about the humans' future, God gave them a mighty force with which to aid them. It was the Saru. I've always wondered if Saru was just hard translated from katakana for the word cell, because they use it a lot like that, but I digress. Since the dawn of human memory, known as history, humans lived together with the creatures known as Saru. The Saru lived together with humans, always obeying them, and making the humans many times stronger than before. When not worn by a human, a Saru looks much like a stone figure. However, upon touching a human, a Saru changes form and gives that human secret abilities. With a Saru, a human can lift objects heavier than itself, and even fly in the air at will. However, that era came to an end. Appearing from out of nowhere, the mist covered the land, bringing to an end prosperous symbiosis between humans and Saru. After the thick mist came, the Saru, who once obeyed humans, rebelled against them. The Saru began attacking humans at will. Saru that attached themselves to humans controlled their minds and turned them into evil beasts. As if forsaken by God, human civilization collapsed. It was the end of humanity. Those who escaped the mist inhabited the desolate areas and protected each other. Now their faint hope is their only source of inspiration. Oh, that skybox is touching the wall! Oh no! Wouldn't notice that on a CRT, I'll tell you what. Select your name. For simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna leave him as Vaughn. I've always liked that, like, it gives you the default, and you can type in whatever you want, but there's also just a button to make it Vaughn again. It's a nice little convenience feature if you can't decide. Oh no, graphics tech! Okay, so he'll be Vaughn. It makes sense with his dad's naming convention, which we'll see later. Quick stop, look at that house. Now, the screen changes here, And I've never quite figured out why. I don't know if that's supposed to be, like, the time of day passing. He's been stood here that long. But there was just a slight change in the filter.
Vaughn! I knew you would be here. The mysterious Genesis tree. This is a soothing place. You always liked this tree. Tomorrow you will become a hunter, an adult. Were you praying for a successful hunt?
No.
I was wrong. Perhaps you're praying for the safe return of the hunters who are out now. Vaughn, I thought I would come here to cheer you up, but I guess that wasn't necessary. You will be a fine hunter. I'm counting on you from the bottom of my heart.
And there goes a chunky man. Now we're in control. So, this is a very 3D game. I remember selling this to my old roommate. Not literally selling, but trying to sell him on the idea of the game. I described it as Final Fantasy VII graphics, but everything is 3D. There's no attempt at sprites anywhere except for the menus. And just to show off the 3D, let's check out this panoramic map of Rim Elm on the blackboard. This is Rim Elm, where Vaughn lives. What part do you want to see? And the idea that this is on just a blackboard on the tree is hilarious to me. So let's check out my house. This is where you live, with your father, Val, and younger sister, Nene. Or, as I pronounced it as a 7-year-old, Neen. What part do you want to see? Juno and May's house. This is Juno and May's house. May is a sweet girl and a year older than Vaughn. If you haven't read the manual, then you may not have read that Vaughn is supposed to be 14 years old, explicitly 14. So he's becoming an adult in the bar mitzvah sense, I suppose, by becoming a hunter, same age. Neen, yes, Theo. This is Rim Elm. Let's go to the memory statue. 3 places that matter. My house, May's house, and the memory statue. The memory statue is in this cave. Talk to it to record events during your adventure. Forget it. Okay. So of course you can talk to everybody. Vaughn, I love the Genesis tree too!
Vaughn, when you go hunting outside the wall tomorrow, bring me back a souvenir!
I've always thought that the way that the kids animate is a little strange. They bounce in a way that no other NPC does. But I guess that's supposed to be just their childlike vigor. Too much energy to contain. And who's this? May. Vaughn, I was looking for you, so you were praying at the Genesis tree. It's about the hunting clothes for you to wear tomorrow. What hunting clothes? You're terrible, I can't believe you forgot. After all the trouble I went through to make them for you to wear hunting tomorrow. I was just joking, haha. I'm sorry, now I remember. Vaughn, you're so anxious to go hunting that you forgot all about it. I guess that's what I like about you, Vaughn. Oh, and by the way, I'm almost finished, but I have to check some of the measurements. So can I measure you one more time? Sure. Thanks, Vaughn, you're so kind. I'll be at your house waiting for you, so don't be too late. She does a little curtsy, and then she wanders off. Alright, now we're truly free to wander around. We won't get interrupted anymore. The house is locked and you can't get inside. How dare I try to enter that?
Oh, it's you, Vaughn. The hunters should be returning shortly, so I'll be waiting here.
So of course, in classic JRPG fashion, you can wander around, talk to anyone you like. I spent too much of my childhood just jumping on these logs. This is a mechanic that is rarely ever used in the game, but that it's here just thrilled me to no end. And it's clearly just some developer recording his voice going whoosh. Hilarious. Of course I was a dork. We were all dorks back then. So this guy's guarding the door.
No, no, Vaughn, don't get close to the wall.
Oh, that's all he has to say. So, I'm playing this on DuckStation, which is a very fancy name for my authentic original hardware. And it has some excellent improvements. I went through the options and I can share a screenshot of the things that I enabled. But it actually, without compromising the original aesthetic of the game, it fixed some very impressive things. Like there's Z-fighting in the battles that was present on original hardware, but you can actually you can get rid of it by enabling a certain option in DuckStation. It's very impressive. So these are our save points, called the memory statues. She can give us a little intro. Look, Vaughn, that is the memory statue. Memory statue will remember things for you. What you feel, what you experience, everything. Talk to it to save important memories. I do like when save points are like a real in-universe thing. It's charming. As opposed to just inexplicably existing in the world. So last night, before I went to bed, I filled up an entire memory card with save slots, because I wanted to show off that each block, like if I go to the empty memory card, then there's nothing. You can just save wherever. But each block in the game, in your memory card, gets a little portrait from one of the characters from the story, which I think is really cute. Of course, you have to fill your entire memory card to see this, but yeah, just something that has always fascinated me. I didn't see a lot of games do something like this, although I do know that a lot of PlayStation 2 games, they have special animations when you check them in the BIOS. Yeah, it's awesome. And, you know, when you start the game, you won't recognize any of these people, but as you progress further and further, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this person from the save file icon. This one was a mystery to me for a long time, because it's a really low-res image, and they kind of don't look like this, but yeah. Anyway, let me actually save, just so that we're on the stream playthrough now. Okay. So we've got a shop here. I don't think this shop opens until they have a sign outside declaring it to be a shop. Let's see what she has to say. Sobbing silence. Oh, little Vaughn, you saw me crying. How embarrassing. Long ago, I had a shop here. I sold many different weapons. While I was cleaning, I began to remember those days and suddenly started to cry. Someday, if the mist clears and all the people come back, I'll be able to open my shop again. Vaughn, you must promise to shop at my store, alright? I make no commitments. I am a silent protagonist. So it is default walk, by the way. I'm holding the X button to run around. This is the village elder's house, I believe. I'm not going to talk to every single NPC, just because we'd be here all day if I did. Oh, nice! Magic leaf. Good old looting the village. It is adorable, isn't it? And I can turn on default run. There's not a lot of options, but the options that are there are good. There's default run, which I actually prefer default walk. It's something about holding a run button feels good to me, I don't know. You can change how quickly your status shows up. This makes it like 5 or 6 seconds, something like that, on gradual. Immediate is 1 second, and then display off is it never shows up. And just various battle options. Battle camera is interesting, because you can make the camera go really far away in battle. But close is superior, just so you can get a look at all the details. I'm not sure that vibration is compatible with this authentic hardware, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. There's not really much to see in the status until you start collecting things. The stats are not very complicated. Attack is obviously physical attack. Speed represents the turn order. Intelligence is your magic. I believe it's just... Oh, no. It's magic damage and magic resistance, I think. And then it's upper defense and lower defense for where you receive physical attacks. And agility is specific to the battle system. I'll explain it more when we get into a battle. But it's how many commands you can do with your physical attacks. We actually start with 5 healing leaves, which is good, because this game can be unforgiving if you don't know what you're doing. Now let's run down and see our boy Tetsu. You were a child when the mist appeared, Vaughn, but now you are ready for the hunt. Time goes by so quickly. I have taught you the techniques of Byron all your life. Do not forget them while hunting outside the village. Now then, Vaughn, do you want something today? I want to hear about Byron. Byron is a god of strength and love. Outside Rim Elm is a temple devoted to Byron. There, many warrior monks devoted to Byron practice night and day. They renounce the world's dependence on Seru and work to polish their fighting skills. Many Byron warrior monks also traveled the globe to spread the noble teachings of Byron. When visiting Rim Elm, I was trapped here by the mist, but I am still a faithful Byron. I feel it as my destiny to teach the young the teachings and fighting skills of Byron. What else is it you want? Tell me the secrets of fighting. Ha ha ha! There's no shortcut to success in battle. Constant training is the only way. However, I shall teach you a little secret. Use your spirit effectively. You will be unable to attack, and thus be attacked, but your defensive force rises while you are accumulating spirit. That's not all. In your next turn, you will be able to inflict more attacks. This is a good strategy when fighting a formidable opponent. So, we'll cover this more when we get into our first battle, but I didn't really understand that as a kid, and so this game was much harder. It's like when you play a Pokemon game, and there's this impulse to get rid of anything that's not an attacking move. I just didn't bother with Spirit, and it was tough. I want to practice with you. I see. Before we practice, take this. Fun now as a healing leaf. It's a similar idea to Bravely Default, with the Brave and Default system. But we're about to see it. Now you're ready. Come at me. And I'm gonna warn you right now, the music so far has been really, like... I love the music of this game. I think it's unique. There's a lot of percussion. But it's been fairly standard, like JRPG. This is like a small town theme. Every battle theme in this game, the unique battle theme, the generic battle theme, anything that involves fighting is actively hostile and gives you anxiety. These are battle themes for making you feel tense, not triumphant. just intense percussion and almost nothing else. Yeah, this game made me feel, like, on edge when I was a kid. Even now, like, it gets the heart pumping in a sort of nervous way. So, we can begin or we can run. And he's going to handhold our way through our first little fight. So we're going to select attack. And, by the way, everything here, you can see the little D-pad icon in the middle. You can hit the X button, and you can change your controls so that you highlight and then hit X. But by default, you just tap the button, so if I tap left on the D-pad, it goes to attack. So it's very streamlined, you can go through the menus very fast. You can pick whatever you want between auto and command here. But when you pick auto, it is truly random. It will just input commands for you with no particular order. So we're going to go to command, and it's going to allow us to pick whatever we want here. But you'll notice that meter at the bottom, the AP, is 0 right now. This means that no matter what we do, only basic attacks will come out. You need AP in order to do anything special. So we're just gonna do a left and a right and a high. And we'll begin. So you see, we did a left punch, a right punch, and a high kick. Now it's not immediately clear, but you actually use a different leg for your high kick and your low kick. So each button on the D-pad actually corresponds to a different limb, which I think is cool. So now he's just guiding us through the item tutorial. Very basic stuff, but the sound design in this game is phenomenal. I'll use the item and let you hear for yourself. I think that is fantastic for just a use an item in battle noise. They didn't have to go so hard. Yes, no, this game has no chill. The interview that I linked during my first little spiel in the Legaia channel, it was the scriptwriter that did the interview. He's sadly passed on now. But he speaks with such passion about the game. It seems clear that the team was working really hard to make something different and involved. They didn't phone this one in. Next is about your spirit. Select begin. Next, select spirit. When spirit is selected, your defense increases and the attack action gauge will be longer on your next turn. For some reason, I just didn't get it through my head that your defense increases, so boss battles were a nightmare when I was a kid. And as you can see, when we select spirit, we can't do anything else. And you can watch, the meter extends there, and our AP fills up. And you'll notice we actually blocked one of those attacks and took no damage from it. Last is Hyper Arts. So now we have 83 AP, and we have a longer meter here. Now, he's going to force us to do a high-low-high, but we actually have room for 4 commands now, and we almost have room for a 5th. So we can just input whatever we want, other than the high-low-high. Let's start with a right hook, and then high-low-high. And he's just telling us if there were multiple opponents, we could select at this point. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So with a right and a high-low-high, what happens is... we perform a Hyper Arts. So the manual actually has a couple of arts for each character written down there, and they kind of hide the command so you have to experiment. But if you know the commands already, either by looking them up or getting a friend to tell you, you have access to whatever arts you can fit in your bar from the beginning of the game. With some exceptions. Nothing in particular. Tomorrow you leave for the
Tomorrow you leave for the outside world, where many Seru lurk. Do not be overconfident.
Alright. See you later, Tetsu. This little outcropping of rock is completely functionless. They put it here for style points and nothing else. I pondered over this rock for many an hour as a child, but it's nothing. Yes, exactly like Regis with its spells. If you have foreknowledge, you can wipe the floor. Well, not really wipe the floor, because you're always going to be limited by your damage. My attack is 24, so I'll always be at attack 24. What the hyper arts do, and you can see it now listed, somersault there is the high-low high. What it does is it just puts a damage multiplier on... you'll see at the bottom there, it says up, down, up, and the up is highlighted in yellow. That's indicating that the up has a damage multiplier on it. So, if the enemy blocks that particular part, that's it. Like, you don't get anything bonus from the hyper art. It can happen, and it's very frustrating. You do have an edge, yes. Especially in some cases with the stronger and longer combinations. Okay, what are we doing now? I think we're heading home.